Hello, friends. Welcome. Today I am sitting here in the middle of the desert. This is my gateway to escape the pressure of city. I often come here and sit here for long hours, just looking at the vastness of this desert. There's nothing like coming and sitting in the nature. In nature, I feel complete. Uh, Today, I I know the light is against me. You must be thinking that being a photographer, how can I set up my camera against the sun? Well, that's okay because this entire video making, documenting my thoughts, this entire journey, this entire thing is not about me at all. I am a small speck in such a large universe. I want to get something, so I get distracted and I will talk my mind. Anyway, so this is not about showing myself. That is why keeping the camera, against the sun. Hopefully you can see the beautiful sunset in few minutes. I hope the battery lasts so long. Anyways, so today I want to share with you my one experience which I had during a Vipassana course. This experience particularly happened, I think, sixth or seventh day of the course, when Vipassana, the main meditation technique, has been given to the student after third day. First 3 days are more on focusing on breath, making one's mind sharp. So on fourth day, this technique is given, and this particular incident happened on sixth or seventh day. I can't remember properly, but I want to just share with you the lesson I learned, or realization I had about my own mind, which I was completely unaware of before. So actually, what happened on sixth day? I broke my slippers, one of my slipper, when I was entering the meditation hall. I was entering. I broke my slipper. I came into the hall, took my seat to meditate, and since I was doing meditation for last 5 days, my mind was much sharper than first I came here. So I was little bit more aware about of my breath and aware of my mind's pattern than the first time I sat. So I I am sitting here with the closed eyes. I still have this feeling that I just broke my slipper. What next? It happens to all of us. When something happens, our mind rush to get the solution. So here I am in the meditation center, trying to focus focus on my breath and my technique. But this mind is making its own plans. Oh, I broke a slipper. Now I have 4 days more to go before the course finishes. And after once I finish from here, I would go to this particular showroom. There is a Nike showroom on the way to my home. So I will stop by the Nike showroom and I will buy this slipper. Oh, I wanted one shoe also. So it will be okay, I will buy at the same time. Thinking this, how much it will be? It will be what? 100, 200, 300 bucks? Okay. Then suddenly my mind goes back to the past and it start thinking, oh, when I was growing up, how difficult the situation was. We could not afford all these brands which I can easily buy now. Oh, one more thought, you know, a different thought. Oh, thankful. I'm thankful to God. Another thought. How hard I have worked to come and reach here. Thankfully, thanks to God, now I can afford anything I want. If this thought finish and comes another thought. What if I cannot afford the same luxury or same living standard, in future? Then what will happen? Oh my god. Inflation is growing. Oh my god. What will happen in the future? Then again it comes back to past. Oh, things were not so expensive back then. Look at this now, how the prices are going up. Again it goes to future. What happens if tomorrow stock market crashes and your portfolio becomes half? Oh my god. So this kind of thought I was rolling in. I was aware, unlike my first sitting, I was aware what is happening. So I started, without rolling in it, I started to count the thoughts. So like that I count 16, 17 thoughts before I got lost again into this mind's game, And again around 10 or 15 minutes pass when I came to realize, oh, I was sitting here to meditate. And I remember, when I remember, these thoughts were like running without any pattern, they were running from one point to other point, from one subject to another subject, which is totally unrelated. Main pattern what I recognize was that my mind was going either to the future or to the past. Past future, and that too for the different subjects. Like I broke my slipper, now not just slipper, it is the mind is now thinking about the financial status, the living standard, the world's economy, the stock market, what will happen to this thing, So I realized, as our teacher told us, that the habit of our mind is never live in present and always to jump from past to future, future to past. Well, I notice this about my own mind, and its pattern. I'm not authorized to talk about everyone and about you in general, but this is what I realize, and I realize it with very like kind of a bird's eye view point of view where I could see my thoughts. And I realized at that time, really, friends, that when we have any trouble or when we worry or when we are anxious, our mind just take us for a ride, and we don't realize. I never realized, friends. Tell me, did you ever realize? I realized one thing going here in the course, in the Vipassana course, that we all have mental diarrhea. At least I could say that I had a mental diarrhea. My mind pattern was at all the places. And I am sure, friends, if you will go for such a course, you would realize by yourself there are some few seconds of awareness, complete awareness, where you will be able to observe about the things about yourself. This is not a complete miracle thing. At least for me, it was a big achievement because first time in my life I was able to see my thoughts, even for 30 seconds or 40 seconds. There was glimpse, that how my mind was taking me on a ride, and how I am slave of this mind without even realizing it, without even knowing it. So I just want to ask all of you, have you ever noticed these patterns of the mind? Have you ever had any opportunity to notice all this maneuver of mind? Please share with me your stories. you know it will be interesting to see, and to observe to all of us that how mind works. Maybe it will give us some respite. Maybe it will give us some inspiration to work hard on mind, because like physical muscles, we have to train our mind as well, because there is so much anxiety, depression out here that we all need to have some practical tool to fight it. Because otherwise reading and all thing doing all the thing doesn't work. We should have some practical tools to observe the things, to have some control over the things. That is why I'm making this series of videos, so that we will have a practical steps or practical tools We would share experiences with each other. So please share with me your thoughts. Have you ever noticed the wild patterns of your mind? Were you able to overcome it? For me, it was first time. And anybody who wants to join this courses, they can definitely go. These are the free courses held all around the world. Just I will leave the link below if any one of you want to know more about this thing. So thank you everyone for listening. Till next time, have a nice day.